Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video, because I do appreciate it. A long time ago, several months ago actually, I uploaded a video that I titled Deontay Wilder's most overrated victory ever. And in that video, I explained that Boogeyman was Deontay Wilder's most overrated victory ever because before he fought Luis King Kong Ortiz, this guy was perceived as Deontay Wilder's best opponent. I remember several Deontay Wilder fanboys, going around kissing Deontay Wilder's ass for beating Stiverne, saying, but he beat Stiverne though. He beat Stiverne. He beat Beware. As if Stiverne was this pound for pound king. And for several months, actually several years, people would always talk about Stiverne and Deontay Wilder's victory over Stiverne as it was such a massive accomplishment. Well, I got an updated version now. I got a 2019 version now. And that is Luis King Kong Ortiz. Because, you know, now whenever we think about Deontay Wilder's resume, and, you know, the best guys he's fought, the best guys he's beaten, if you look at his resume, the best guys he's beaten, because he didn't beat Tyson Fury, okay? He got a draw. That's not a win. That's a draw. That means he wasn't good enough to beat him. A draw means you're not good enough to beat your opponent. All right? So I'm not going to count Tyson Fury. The two best guys that he has supposedly beaten was Boogeyman and Luis Ortiz. Now, Luis Ortiz seems to be the guy who many people consider the best guy he's ever beaten, right? I mean, these are just facts. Every time you think of, you know, people talk about, at least Deontay Wilder fans, every time they talk about Deontay Wilder's resume, they always bring up Luis Ortiz because they look at Luis Ortiz as Deontay Wilder's best victory in his entire career. And I understand why. At the time, Luis Ortiz was unbeaten, and he was Cuban. And, you know, in boxing, Cubans are supposedly the best fighters of all time, right? At least that's what, like, the stereotype is. Cubans are the best fighters in the world. Nobody could beat them, you know. Anyway, I'm sorry to say this, but I honestly believe that Luis Ortiz is overrated. And this is why I'm making a video saying that this is Deontay Wilder's most overrated victory. Now, when it comes to Luis Ortiz, I've been, even before Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz, I've been telling you guys that I felt that Luis Ortiz was an overrated fighter because of his resume. You know, when it came to Luis Ortiz, prior to him facing Deontay Wilder, he always had this label on him that people would call him the Boogeyman. This was the label that people put on Luis Ortiz. He's the Boogeyman. He's the Boogeyman. He's the dark horse of the heavyweight division. And I never understood that. I never understood how a guy who hasn't fought anybody could be labeled a Boogeyman. Because where I come from, a Boogeyman is a guy that doesn't get much attention but is beating quality opponents. You get what I'm saying? Because there's some fighters out there that people don't talk highly about them, but you see their resume, and early on in their career, they're beating the crap out of guys who are good fighters. That's what I consider Boogeymans. For example, Alexander Usyk, he was beating good fighters very early on in his career. I consider him a Boogeyman. When it came to Luis Ortiz, you know, prior to him fighting Deontay Wilder, he hadn't fought anyone that of note, anyone that impressed me. The best guy he fought was Brian Jennings, and that was it. That was the only guy. You know, and let's actually investigate Luis Ortiz's resume. I mean, the last fight he had was against Christian Hammer. He didn't look great against Christian Hammer. Christian Hammer has 5 losses. He's been knocked out before. Ortiz couldn't knock him out. Christian Hammer was hitting him flush with right hands down the pipe. Literally every time he threw a right hand. I mean, every time Christian Hammer threw a right hand, he couldn't miss Luis Ortiz. Ortiz looked bad against Christian Hammer. I wasn't impressed by the way he looked against Christian Hammer. Prior to that, he fought Travis Kaufman. Travis Kaufman is a untelevised type of fighter. He's a guy that you don't see him fighting on TV. Okay? He's a mediocre club fighter type of fighter. All right? He won several rounds with Travis Kaufman before he stopped him. Before that, he fought Razvan Kajano. I was not impressed with none of his 3 last fights, none of his 3 last opponents, because all these guys were club fighters at best. Christian Hammer was probably the best opponent out of Travis Kaufman and Razvan Kajano. But he himself is no elite boxer. He's just not. Then he fought Deontay Wilder. I'm not going to give Luis Ortiz a moral victory over Deontay Wilder because he did not beat Deontay Wilder. He lost against Deontay Wilder. The difference between Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder is Tyson Fury didn't get knocked the fuck out against Deontay Wilder. That fight went to the decision, and I felt that Tyson Fury did enough to beat Deontay Wilder. So that's why I felt like, yo, they robbed him, you know? But when it came to Luis Ortiz, yeah, I'll give him some credit for winning rounds against Deontay Wilder, but at the end of the day, he lost against him. That's the best guy Luis Ortiz has ever fought. Luis Ortiz, the best opponent he ever fought was Deontay Wilder. And guess what? He lost against him. Alright, he lost against Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder himself is not the best heavyweight out there in terms of skill set. Alright, but this is what I'm talking about. Before he fought Deontay Wilder, people were labeling this man a fucking you know, pound for pound, #1 elite heavyweight. To this day, they say he's the 4th best heavyweight. That's a crock of nonsense. I don't look at Luis Ortiz as the 4th best heavyweight. I rank Dillian White higher than him. People rank Luis Ortiz higher than Joseph Parker, Dillian White. I don't rank. He hasn't fought the quality of opposition. I rank guys based off the quality of opposition they fight, not because they're Cuban or because they're labeled a boogeyman. But many Deontay Wilder fans call Luis Ortiz the 4th, 5th, 3rd best heavyweight because they label him the boogeyman. But he hasn't fought anybody. This is what I'm talking about. Before he fought Deontay Wilder, people were calling this man a boogeyman. But look at the guys he was fighting. Daniel Martz. Who the fuck is Daniel Martz? A bum. A bum. A bum. Prior to that, he fought Dave Allen. Dave Allen at this point has like 5 losses. Dave Allen is basically what Dave Allen is he's a journeyman from UK. That's what he is. Because he always comes up short. Dave Allen never beats elite fighters. He always comes up short. Matter of fact, he's lost to non-elite fighters. He lost to God, I already forgot that guy's name. But he lost to that Jamaican boxer who was not an elite fighter. So I don't consider that an impressive victory for Luis Ortiz. And by the way, Dave Allen was landing shots, hard flesh shots on Luis Ortiz. Prior to that, he fought Malik Scott. Malik Scott is known as being a guy who dives in fights, is known as being a guy who has no heart. These are facts. Against Luis Ortiz, he ran the whole fucking fight because he has no heart. He has no heart. He has no heart. Malik Scott is a heartless boxer because prior to him running around the ring against Luis Ortiz, he basically took a dive against Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder landed a right hand that did not land. He threw a right hand, excuse me, that did not land. And he fell down and stayed down like he got shot, you know, at close range with a shotgun. Prior to that, he gave up against Derek Chisora. When things got rough against Derek Chisora, what did he do? He got on his knees and he stayed on his knees. He's known for being a guy who quit. So I wasn't impressed with Malik Scott versus Luis Ortiz. Excuse me. I just feel that Malik Scott has no heart. Prior to that, he fought ancient, and I mean ancient, Tony Thompson. Tony the Tiger Thompson. How much props can you give Luis Ortiz for beating a 59-year-old man? Come on, people. Let's be real here. Prior to that, he fought Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings is the best guy he ever fought. Brian Jennings, because at the time he came off, he just had one loss, and that was against Vladimir Klitschko. That's the only guy that I could look at his resume who he actually beat. I'm talking about the people he's beaten. That I could be like, okay, this is one decent level boxer, because I consider Brian Jennings a top 20 heavyweight. But still, Brian Jennings himself is not elite. And if you keep looking down on his resume, guys like Matias, Brian Pauly's a bum, Latif Coyote was overrated, Monty Barrett was ancient, Alex Gonzalez, bum, Rabot, bum. All these other dudes were just bums. So that's what I'm saying. If you actually take the time to look at Luis Ortiz's resume and dissect his resume, the best guy he's actually beaten, the best guy he's got in the ring with was Deontay Wilder, but he didn't beat him. He lost against him. The best guy he's actually beaten was Brian Jennings. So this is why I never considered this guy. I don't understand why people label this guy as a boogeyman. What has this guy done? Boogeymans are supposed to beat the dudes that you know of. All right, that's what I consider a boogeyman, not a guy who's fought nothing but mediocre fighters. I don't understand how this guy gets labeled a boogeyman. A boogeyman is a guy who beats elite fighters. If Luis Ortiz was knocking out guys like Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Joseph Parker, I would be calling him a boogeyman. I'd be saying, all right, this guy's a problem. But he's never done that. He's beaten mediocre fighters. So I don't understand why this guy has this title of the boogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him. It's ridiculous, man. It's funny how, and the reason, I honestly believe that the reason many people call this man the boogeyman is because Deontay Wilder fought him, just to try and give Deontay Wilder credit and props, or boost his victory over Luis Ortiz. But I never, like I said, in my original channel several years ago, I made a video called How Good is Luis Ortiz? This was years ago, probably back in early 2017 when I made my first channel. Unfortunately, that channel got deleted, so that video got deleted, so it's no longer here. But I've been telling you guys that I have never considered Luis Ortiz a elite boxer. I think he's a decent boxer, but I definitely think he's overrated. I think he's overrated. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm not saying that he is trash. All I'm saying is I believe he's overrated, and I'm not impressed with his resume. He's never beaten an elite boxer. You cannot call a fighter a boogeyman when he hasn't beaten elite fighters. Call guys who've beaten elite fighters boogeymans. Okay, do that. All right? Tyson Fury is more of a boogeyman than Luis Ortiz because he beat an elite fighter in Vladimir Klitschko. He beat an elite fighter. So I could call Tyson Fury a boogeyman. Anyway, guys, so I have to say thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'm out. I hope you enjoyed.